All right. Looks like we're live. Welcome, everyone. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. Welcome to the Calling in the Right Clients Masterclass. I see Yasha joining. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to take another minute or so for people to arrive. Um, I'm going to give you a bit of housekeeping orientation so that you get the most out of this time. Let me just make sure that I can read you in the comments. There we go. Um, yeah, so first thing is I highly encourage you to grab pen and paper, just to have a way to jot down whatever insights come up during this masterclass. Um, Also, I highly encourage you, as challenging as it can be in our times, to really give this masterclass your full focus. So that means like closing down the 12 other tabs that you have open and maybe putting your phone on mute and just making sure you're in an uninterrupted space. I see Jan joining as well. Awesome. Um, then the most powerful way to learn that I've experienced is to engage. Now, in this kind of format, obviously, we cannot engage directly, as in to speak, but I have the masterclass live stream open on my phone. So, um, regardless of whether you're joining live or catching the replay, I'm gonna at some point ask a couple of questions, encourage you to engage. For now, if you want, you can just share where you're joining in from. And again, it doesn't matter if you're joining live or in just watching the replay. I will definitely engage with you. Got my protein shake ready. Um, yeah, and the last thing in terms of housekeeping is I'm gonna monitor the chat if questions come up. And in the end, I'll probably give some time for questions that popped up in the comments just to respond to them. So with that being said, yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments where you're joining in from. I see Petra here. Very nice. Good to see you. Joining from Czechia. Alrighty, let's get started. Um, Yosha is joining from Munich. Awesome. So here's what we'll be covering. My aim is to for this to take about 45 minutes. Vincent is here from Berlin. Awesome. Vienna. Love it. Great to see. Good to have you all. So I'll start by sharing a bit about who this masterclass is for and also a little bit about me, in case you don't know me so well. Maybe I'll cover some things that you didn't know about me if you already know me. We'll talk about why pain point marketing calls in the wrong clients and what is a better alternative to pain point marketing. Um, We're going to explore who your ideal client is, and I'll talk a bit about like what are general qualities that you want to have in an ideal client, but also help you explore in your unique situation with, your market and your offer. Uh, what are things that you want your ideal client to embody? And then we'll go into how you can tweak your offers and your content to call in your ideal client, maybe to call them in even more than you've been doing now. We'll look at how to be a match. You could say like how to be an energetic match for your ideal client. So what is kind of like uh the the inner work that you can do to make sure that your ideal client actually feels drawn to you and wants to work with you. Um, Yeah, in the end, I'm going to share three common misconceptions about calling your ideal client, like things that might be coming up in your head of like, oh, yeah, I want to do this, but there's this thing or there's that thing. So I'm going to address a couple of things that I've heard. And then in the end, I'm going to share with you how I can help you call in the right clients. So I'll share what my current offer is, if you're interested in yeah, working with me further and have my support in you calling in the right clients. All right, so I will briefly share who this is for, and to give you a little bit of a meta, there is a reason why I'm framing it the way that I'm framing it here, and I'm going to explain it later. But just to say, uh, you're going to benefit from this masterclass, even if these things that I'm going to share are, do not all apply to you. And again, there's a reason still why I'm putting it this way. So the masterclass is for people who are already working with people one-on-one. You already have experiences with clients, and you maybe have some clients that you absolutely love working with, and other clients where it's like it's a bit more hard work and it's a bit of like it takes more energy. You are getting good results from the work that you're doing, like your clients are happy working with you. You have a calling to serve your clients the best way possible. So when I work with people, while I do help them increase their income in their business, um, I only do that with clients who are not just doing that to make money. So it's really important for me that there's like a bigger dedication or purpose behind you working with clients, like a desire to uh, contribute to life at large, let's say. And then the last thing is you're an action taker. You are ready to implement things. If you have aha moments, you're ready to say, cool, let me change this or that in my business. Now, one more time, it might not be that all of these things are applying to you. That's totally fine. You're very welcome to be here. And I'm going to explain again in a bit why I'm framing it this way. See, Anastasia is here. Welcome. Alrighty. So here's a little bit of background who I am. So my name is David. I used to study psychology. I'm a, a university dropout. I dropped out of studying in 2016. And ever since then, I've been on a path of entrepreneurship. I launched a fairly big online summit in 2018, and I've been kind of in the online marketing world for the past 6, 7 years. Taking lots of trainings, learning many things, applying many things. My like originally, I used to be in men's work, so the online summit that I did was a summit called the Evolving Men Summit. So I used to do like kind of purpose and embodiment work, doing men's group, doing one-on-one coaching, doing various trainings, also being invited to host trainings in different places. And over the past, I'd say like 2 to 3 years, I've um, I've noticed that my ideal client is actually someone who is self-employed, someone who has like the entrepreneurial itch. And I've slowly transitioned to being more of a business coach than a men's coach. I started working with women as well. And I kind of fully transitioned and kind of repositioned myself as a somatic business coach last year. But yeah, I've already before then been working, mm, doing, yeah, mostly business coaching. But last year I was like, okay, it's time to kind of reposition myself this way. And one other thing that I want to share with you that will be relevant for today's masterclass is for quite some time, I had this question in my mind of how much of what I'm doing is therapy, because again, I have a background in psychology. I studied a lot of therapeutic modalities. I explored trauma deeply. I've been, on a path of healing and embodiment myself, and how much of it is actually coaching. And yeah, it was quite a big question for many years. And it took me being with clients who were looking for different things to realize that what I feel most called to do is to do coaching with people who have done a lot of therapy before. Or the way that I usually talk about it is people who are very clearly on a path of embodiment, on a spiritual path of connecting deeper to themselves. I help these kinds of people take action in their business in a nervous system friendly way. So the kind of therapy part or the uh, nervous system friendly part, that's like in the background. But what I practically do is for the most part business strategy. And I'm saying that because the more that I became clear that that is what I feel called to do, the more I was calling in my ideal client. Whereas before it was like, some people were mainly looking for therapy and I was working with them and it worked quite well, but I noticed, it's not exactly what I feel called to do. And what my secret is now, secret is a funny word here, but maybe just what I think makes me successful these days is, um, and that is something that I'm hearing quite often, people giving me feedback that I have the courage to be precise. What I mean by that is I'm willing to speak to a very specific kind of person with my content. So the trap that many of us fall into is we want to speak to everyone, and we want to say, yeah, I can help you with this topic and that topic and these things and blah blah blah. And what ends up happening is you become quite vague, and no one feels really spoken to. And so this courage to be precise is just something that I've developed. It's like, no, I'm really not here to serve everyone. I'm here to serve spiritual entrepreneurs. I help them create a transformational offer. That is what I do in my one-on-one work. And I've understood that just because you become very precise doesn't mean that you're excluding everyone else. So I do have clients I work with where I don't exactly do business coaching with them. But this is still like very clearly what I'm positioned as. So yeah, that is a feedback that I'm getting quite often. And in terms of what my clients appreciate about my work the most, from what I've heard, is that the way that I teach business strategy is very much based on the foundation of embodiment, of acknowledging there's a deeper intelligence than just our mind, and that we want to grow our business and be successful in a nervous system friendly way. Like I'm really not interested in being successful at the expense of my health, my well-being. I want to walk at a pace that feels good. And so that's what I teach to my clients. And that's something that I hear quite often that they appreciate. Now, I want to give you an example of one of my clients, kind of like a case study, something that happened with Sana. She's a breathwork facilitator. She started working with me sometime in fall last year, and a few days after she decided to work with me on creating her transformational offer, she had a potential one-on-one client reach out to her. It was like, "Hey, uh, can you help me? I want to work with you." And obviously, it was really exciting for her because she just made a larger financial investment into our coaching. Um, and it was cool to like get this immediate kind of opportunity. And this client was very eager to work with her. And so they were working on a deal. It was pretty much done. I think he would pay her something like 1,500 euros, which, was a significant, like a good percentage of what she invested in the coaching. But she actually ended up declining working with that client because she noticed it just didn't feel right. Like this client wasn't a match. She wasn't feeling excited. It was more like, well, I would be doing that for the money, but I'm not fully sure I want to do that. And so she decided against that, which obviously was really courageous because she couldn't know what would come next, right? So straight after making an investment into your business, turning down such an opportunity, I found it really cool. I found it really courageous. So then we started creating her transformational offer, which is called Rooted in Self-Love. So she helps her clients become more deeply connected to themselves, regulated, and yeah, be able to develop deep self-compassion with themselves. Um, she started putting out her transformational offer, I think, in the beginning of this year, and she already has two clients in and is on her way to get her third client in. Um, so in retrospect, it really paid off for her to say no to this client because the people that she's working with right now, there's so much more of a match. And so this kind of points to something I will be talking about later, which is around boundaries. And if you want to call in your ideal client, you need to have the courage to say no to clients that are not ideal. So there's one last thing that I want to go into before we're going to go into the meat of it all. Um, and I said this in the beginning, and it just helps me to create that frame for myself and maybe also for you. Um, for me, working with clients and generally the work that I do is something sacred. And I feel guided by something bigger in this process. Like this is not just um, about me and my financial gains, and it's not even just about my clients. For me, this is my way of contributing to something greater. And this is the more I keep this in mind, that I'm here to serve life in my very specific, unique way. Um, it really helps me to feel focused and oriented and kind of on purpose. And so I just want to take a moment selfishly for myself, and I'm inviting you to take that as well. It's just to acknowledge that there are greater forces in life that are guiding us. You're never alone in forging your path. In my experience, these forces are benevolent. They're supporting us, and the kind of practical business strategy stuff that I'm sharing is always within this greater context of, yeah, I consider myself and every human being to be on a spiritual path, and working with clients for me is something sacred, and just is a way um, to serve life ultimately. And it can also, for me, what it does is it takes a bit the pressure off of like, it's all up to me. Like I have to perform. Like obviously, yes, I want to be here. I want to give my best, and I can kind of relax into something bigger than me. So with that in mind, let's go into the practicals. Um, we'll start with why pain point marketing calls in the wrong clients. Um, so what is pain point marketing? Basically, pain point marketing is most of the marketing that you're seeing out there these days. Um, and the general idea is that in order for people to buy from you, you need to understand what their pain is, like what their unmet desire is. And then you have to make those people aware of their pain and how uncomfortable it is that they're in pain, and that there's actually something that you need to, like, that they need to take action on, because it sucks where they are right now. And part of that, I would say, is also that you are the only solution to their problem. That is how I look at pain point marketing in a nutshell. And so the problems that I see with pain point marketing is, first of all, it's scarcity based. It's basically putting people in a position of where I am is wrong and bad, and I need to change something right now, um, because whatever, it's not enough right now. It's not good enough. I'm not good enough. And so it tends to put people in a position of feeling desperate. feeling like, oh my God, I can barely breathe. I have to do something right now. Please help me get out of this. And so this please help me get out of this can easily put them in a position of victimhood. Um, if you're aware of the Cartman's drama triangle, this kind of marketing, in my experience, very easily kind of creates a victim savior kind of relationship. So where you as the facilitator are the savior and they are the victim. So it can create a lot of dependence, which also means it's putting a lot of weight on you to kind of save them, and you can really feel that energetically in my experience. And the last thing is that this kind of putting your finger in the wound and like the pain can also feel really intrusive in my experience. Like it's quite the things that we are feeling challenged by in our lives, that's quite an intimate thing. So when we're like, this is what's wrong and this is the pain and this is how you feel, obviously depends on how you do it, but it can have this kind of taste of uh, like stepping into somebody's space in a way that doesn't feel respectful. So that's pain point marketing. Um, Here's the alternative that I've been applying, that I've been fully applying for the past year, that I enjoy so much more for many reasons. Some of them I'm going to go into now. So the alternative is desire-based marketing. And I'll give you I'll give you a very simple tip that you can apply if you want to start using desire-based marketing more. Um, when you go into what are the pain points of your potential client, just flip that pain point around and think about what would they love to have fulfilled? Like what would they love to be true or real in their lives? So desire-based marketing is a lot about focusing more on what the person really wants. Like what do they feel called to move towards in their lives? Um, so it's more about helping them connect to what is possible rather than like digging down on what's wrong with them right now. And what that does is it makes everything that you do, like your whole content, it makes it more uplifting. It's like you're pulling people up. You're making them see that there's a different kind of possibility. Now you're doing that in a way where you're acknowledging that the person, your potential client, is whole as they are. Like there's nothing wrong with them. Um, they can totally stay where they are. And there might be something even more that they want to move into. So there's much more of a sense of abundance of like, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. Um, there's just something else that you know is possible, that you have a sense is possible. And I want to help you just grow into that. Um, what that does is it helps your client, your potential client, step into more of a hero mentality rather than the victim. So feeling like, hey, I have agency, I can affect the my path, I can do things. Um, and that also really changes the relationship to you as a facilitator, um, because they understand that ultimately it's up to them to get what they want. And you can be like a great guide and give amazing input and support them, but it's not like this kind of like clinging onto you as the facilitator and being like, please get me there, like please carry me to my desire. It's more like whoa, there's something that I really want that I feel called to bring into my life, and here's someone who can help me do that. And it's more of like an eye to eye kind of relationship. It's not like there's this huge power difference. And so what that leads to is, and I actually do say that when I talk to potential clients, I tell them, I know one of them is actually watching. So that was a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. I think he asked me, well, do you think I need your support? Do you think it's necessary for me to work with you to get towards what I want to reach? And I said, no, I don't think you need me. I think you're gonna get there eventually, no matter what. However, I think if you work with me, you're gonna get there faster. and probably the process is going to be smoother and more fun. So it's more of like, I want you to check if you want to work with me. Like if you feel like, boom, like working with David would be amazing because I could learn how to grow in my business in a nervous system friendly way and probably wouldn't need to make all the mistakes that I would be doing otherwise. But it's not like he's the only way for me to reach my goals. And so it just creates much more space and fun in the relationship. Just going to take a moment here to slow down. If you have any questions, reflections that you want to put in the chat, um, I'm going to monitor the chat right now. Can be a question, can be an insight. Again, also, if you're joining the replay, I really encourage you to engage with me. I will definitely come back to the comments of this masterclass. So if you have something that you want to bring in, please do. Because it can also be really helpful for your own process to actually voice it or to put it into words, just to solidify like, yeah, there's an insight that I have, something that I was doing this way, and I feel like, now I can start doing it that way. Nice. Thank you, Katarina. Enjoying listening so far. Yeah, glad you're joining. Okay, gonna take one more moment to see if someone else is typing something up. See some likes coming in the comments. All right. There we go. There are a couple of questions. Yeah, happy to hear, Yasha, that you're enjoying this frame, traditional marketing and sales. Yeah, so especially people who have a background in embodiment, most of the time feel really appalled by the way that marketing and sales is being done. And actually, this is one of the reasons why it took me quite some time to call myself a somatic business coach, because my own association with business coaches is like this kind of like, ugh, like just like an icky energy that doesn't feel that feels like kind of pushy. That feels like when I read someone's text, I can sense that they're like trying to get me somewhere so that I do something. And yeah, my intention is to do business in a different way, to I don't want to force anyone or convince anyone of doing anything. I want to be present. I want to share what I have to share and make invitations, but really encourage that, the agency is in uh, my potential clients, and it's up to them to decide whether working with me is the right thing or not. Yeah, so thanks for naming this, Yasha. Vincent asked, what if the client feels overwhelmed by the commitment of regular sessions, but wants to start sessions? Um, That's a that's a deeper question. I can answer in short. So that depends on where you are in your business, and also like who your ideal client is. Um, Generally, for example, I can say I want to work with people who feel clearly committed, who have enough trust in my work that they're willing to commit to a larger container. And I generally don't offer, uh, you know, individual sessions. because that's like I know that like my genius comes out when I work with people a bit more long term. Um, if you feel like this client is actually a really good match and you would love to work with them, what you can do is to offer like a smaller container and be uh, like something that I have been thinking about. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to do it, is to give people the opportunity to work with me for 3 sessions rather than like the full uh, container that I usually offer. Um, yeah, but there are pros and cons to that. So again, it depends on where you are with your business. If your primary goal is to gain experience, then I would absolutely do it. If you're in a place where you feel like, this might actually take the space of someone who's fully committed, then I wouldn't do it. So yeah, that's in short how I'd respond to that. And again, it highly depends on your unique situation. All right, let's go to who's your ideal client. We're gonna first talk about, nice, Vincent, thanks. Good that it resonates or feels supportive. We're going to first talk about a couple of general qualities of qualities that I think will, for the biggest part, apply to all of us, regardless of what it is that you're exactly doing. And then we're going to go into specific qualities that apply to, what you are doing. I will preface this by saying that this actually goes for the whole masterclass, that the way I'm talking about the all these concepts, I'm coming from a place of helping people create a high ticket, mostly one-on-one offer. And so when we talk about ideal clients, I have this in mind. Like this is also someone who's willing to invest a larger sum and so on. Obviously, it does apply um, to any kind of offer that you have, just to some varying degrees. And I just want to make that transparent that when I talk about ideal client here, uh, I am coming from that place of like a high ticket one-on-one offer. And so I ask you if that's not what you're doing or not yet what you're doing to kind of translate that in a way that works for what you're doing. So a couple of those qualities that uh, I find really helpful in the people that I want to work with is first of all, people valuing their time more than their money. And so all that really means is they understand that you can always make money back, but you can never get your time back. And so if there are things that can effectively help you reach something that's really important for you in a shorter amount of time, it's most of the time worth investing that money. So that is a quality that that is in some way necessary for someone to work with me. The next thing is understanding that investing in yourself will always pay off in the long run. So the reason why I'm putting that here is I don't want to need to convince people that that is the case. That is like like work that I'm not willing to do. So if someone doesn't see the value yet in investing in themselves, I'm not going to sit down with them and explain to them why it's useful. That's just not my ideal client. They might come back at a later point, um, but for me, to work with someone, they already need to know that, wow, if I get the right kind of guides and mentors in my life, holy shit, that pays off. The next thing is that this person has been working on the problem or challenge that I help my clients with, that they have been working on this for a while already. So what that means is um, I much prefer working with clients who are already running a business and who have already been thinking about how can I grow it? How can I make 3 to 5 thousand euros per month consistently? Um, because first of all, that tells me that they are action takers, like they have tried different things out. They are already in a mode of looking for a solution. So there's there's a kind of flow chart when you think about potential clients. Um, that it's like this comes from the marketing world where you have like a cold audience, a warm audience, and a hot audience. So the hot audience is like someone who's, if they see the right offer, they're willing to buy it now. Warm audience is like, okay, they kind of know what they're looking for. They understand they have a challenge, but they're not fully ready yet to commit. And then there's the cold audience who might not even understand fully yet that there's something else that they want. And so the ideal client is someone who is already actively looking for solutions, because that way I don't need to make them aware that they're looking for something and so on. They're already in that place. Now, obviously, if you set up a business, you do want to have different kind of offers and different kind of content that helps people move from cold to hot. So from not being aware that they're facing a challenge to like they know they're looking for something and they're willing to invest. Um, but if when I talk about the ideal client and like who I want to like address the most is someone who's already working on this problem, who's already maybe read some books or maybe done some coaching already, or tried out different ways of posting on social media and so on. So those are a couple of general qualities. Now, one kind of frame that I found helpful when I first heard it. It's from a really cool guy, a marketer called Joe Polish. He talks about elves versus halves. So elves are easy, lucrative, and fun, and halves are hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And he actually applies that to all kinds of relationships that we have. So that can be clients, that can be partnerships, but that can also be like friendships and so on, just to explore like, uh, what are the easy, lucrative, and fun relationships that I have, and which ones are more hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And basically, he says, um, if we double down on the elves and just reduce the amount of time that we spend with halves, we're already doing a very important part of our business. So uh, you can, for example, think about the clients that you're already working with. Which ones would you say are more elves and which ones are more halves? And uh, yeah, that brings me to the last point, which is this ideal client exists in all of us. Like, this is not me saying, like, here are the good clients and here are the bad clients. We can also help activate a particular way of looking at life or a particular mindset um, within the people in our audience. So, yeah, again, I'm not describing like a specific person. I'm describing certain qualities that we can be more or less connected to. And is going to bring me to something we'll talk about later. Um, we can call people into these qualities um, through the way we communicate. Cool. Let's go to the specific qualities that might be important for your unique situation. So, one thing that I find really important is to think about what do you want your ideal clients to already have experienced or to already understand so that working with you is most beneficial for them. So what are things that you already want them to understand? So to give you one example, pretty much all the clients that I'm working with are on a path of embodiment and understand the importance of that. And I don't need to explain it to them. It's just like a shared understanding. And yeah, I mean there are some exceptions, but generally I'm not interested in like convincing someone that embodiment is important. Um, yeah, another prerequisite for me would be they've already worked with clients before. They're not in the very beginning of their business, at least for my one-on-one offer. I do have a group offer where there are some people who are just starting out. So just to think about, what do you want people to already bring to the table so that what you're doing makes the most sense to them? And this can actually be really helpful to avoid kind of confusion or disappointment, because if you're assuming that they already have certain things embodied or understood, um, but then they don't, then what you're teaching maybe will not land in them because they're not ready for that yet. So the more clear you can be about, well, what do you want people to already have so that they benefit the most? Uh, it's not just good for you, it's also really helpful for the people coming in. So this is just something to reflect on. Another way to look into this is to look at your existing clients, can be people you're working with right now or in the past, and think about the the ones you enjoyed working with the most. Like, why is that? Why did you enjoy that the most? What was it about these clients that made it such a great match and so enjoyable? Was it that they were super motivated, that they were super, they took responsibility and they were asking for support when they needed to, or they were really excited about doing the work. They were being vulnerable in the process, like they were willing to open up in places that might be challenging. So just to think about, ah, like why was it so great to work with this or that person? And if you don't have that, like if you have never worked with your ideal client or just as an enhancement, you can think about who would you love to work with? Like, what would a person need to bring to the table for you to be like, oh my goodness, this is so enjoyable. Like, this is so much fun. And I also encourage you here to dream big. So, one thing that I experience with ideal clients is that um, they're challenging me to grow myself. So they might be bringing already a level of experience that I'm like, cool, to be able to support them the best way, I need to be growing as well. So that I can continue giving value to this person. That is something that excites me and that motivates me. Right. Whereas if there's someone who's like, who has zero business experience, I'm not going to feel this kind of like spark of like, whoa, let me be on top of my game so that I can help this person the most. Again, I'm talking about my one-on-one over here. So yeah, those are some questions that can be really helpful to reflect on and see what you come up with. I'm just going to leave a couple of breaths if you want to jot something down. Seeing we're already at the 45-minute mark almost. Um, Let me see how many more clients I have. All right, so I think I'm gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes more just for your orientation. So let's go into how you can tweak your offers and your content to call in your ideal client. So one thing is to raise the bar. And so this points back to when in the very beginning of the masterclass, was saying, who is this for? What I did was I raised the bar. I was saying like, hey, these are the pre-experiences that you already have. Um, and so what that does is people who already have these experiences, they will feel fully spoken to. They will feel like, whoa, this is exactly me. Yeah, I'm already working with clients. Yeah, I have good results. It does not mean, and that's why I made it specific, that if you don't have all of these things, that you're not welcome here or that you're not going to learn something. It just means I'm speaking to someone who's already at a specific level. And if I were to say this masterclass is for anyone, regardless of your experience, then this person with that experience will feel like, well, if it's also for people who are just starting out, maybe it's not that interesting for me. So this is one thing that you can do in your offers and in your content marketing is to raise the bar of who you're calling into. And so what it does as well is it's the people who are not there yet, it gives them something to aspire towards, right? Like it gives them a direction to grow towards. So that's a really powerful thing that you can do to start calling in these people at a higher level because it doesn't work the other way around. Like if you say this is for people who are just starting out, people who are just starting out will feel spoken to, but people at a higher level will not. Whereas if you do it the other way around, people will still be able to benefit if they're not at that level yet. The next thing is be specific. So have the courage to, when you're creating content, to really speak to your ideal client. Like it could be one person that you're thinking of, or like a couple of people in your mind, and be like, I want to address this person and that, like their specific situation that they're in. Don't overgeneralize. Don't go like, this is for this person, this person, this person, this person. The next thing is acknowledge. This is about feeling your ideal client be seen, so letting them feel seen, that they are already bringing things to the table. So acknowledging like, hey, you've tried these things out already. You've explored this or that thing. Um, you already understand what this or that means. So when you and really celebrate that, like, hey, and that's awesome. That's really, not everyone does that. That is a way that your ideal client will feel much more seen. We're like, hi, yeah, I do have these experiences already. I have understood the importance of that already. And uh, it's more in line with desire-based marketing, which is about having people see that like where they are is great. Like they've already done a lot. And the last thing on that note is show yourself. And I mean, this is kind of a general marketing thing as well, is people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. So if you don't show yourself, people will not buy. And the more that you show yourself in who you are, in your, like, for example, I love showing my weirdness online. Like, if you follow my Instagram stories, the pictures are terrible. I make awkward faces. I do weird stuff because it's fun for me. And I know that my ideal client will not be like, oh, well, that is not a very professional way of blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not my ideal client. I love people who like being creative, who like being goofy, who like trying things out, and who appreciate, uh, just someone being creative. So showing yourself, making yourself be visible, being vulnerable in the right places is super important to call in to call in any client, but also to call in your ideal client. Now let's go into how to be an energetic match for your clients. So this is more about like the more of an inner approach than the stuff that I just shared. So one thing is leadership energy. So whatever you want your clients to embody, you have to embody it first. You need to be able to take that first step. You need to demonstrate the things that you want your clients to do. As long as like you're in a waiting position, you're not stepping into leadership energy and you're not being a role model for your ideal client. Um, that can take a lot of forms. For example, if you want your client to be willing to try things out, well, then you want to be someone who tries things out. If you want your client to be someone who's willing to invest in themselves, you want to be someone who invests in themselves. Um, yeah, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Vincent, I didn't understand your question, but it looks like you already understood. Yeah, so this is about leadership energy. This is about taking that first step, getting out of like a waiting position. So I'm not a fan of like manifesting your ideal client or any of that stuff because I think it can bring people into like something passive. Like I'm waiting for something to happen. Whereas leadership energy is about taking action. It's about taking responsibility and trusting that there will be like a matching response from the outside if you go first. The next thing is boundaries. So you can't call in your ideal client if your life is full of half clients. If your life is full of clients that you don't really enjoy working with, because obviously that also sucks your energy. And so if you don't have clear boundaries, um, and obviously that can also happen with ideal clients that they're asking for things that are just not part of the agreement that you made. They're not part of the container that you're offering. It just goes beyond. It's really important to be clear about your boundaries and to be able to communicate them in a way that's clear and compassionate. Now, this is a deeper topic. I might talk about this, like I might create a whole masterclass around boundaries because I think it's so important for especially spiritual entrepreneurs to be really clear if you have different kind of offers and containers to be very clear, what am I offering here and what am I not offering here? And if you do that well, it creates actually a lot of trust with the people you're working with. Whereas if you don't have clear boundaries, people will ask and ask and ask for things, and you always say yes. And on some level, they will like value your support less because they will feel like, well, I can always get more. And the last thing is checking in your own life for where you're being incongruent. Like where do you want something from your ideal client that you're not actually embodying yourself? So to give you an example here, one thing that was like a big aha moment for me in the beginning of last year was I was working as a coach, and I was promoting the fact that coaching is really great, but I didn't have a coach myself. And and it was a really interesting process to be like, huh, that's interesting. Why is that? And there was like some part of me that was like, well, I don't need a coach anymore or something like that. And it was really helpful to debunk that and be like, whoa, uh, getting support myself is a powerful way of stepping into leadership energy and of basically me walking the talk. So I got a business mentor last year and it's really changed my business. Like I've been way more profitable since then. Um, so yeah, checking where are you showing up? And that can be where you're showing up as a client, but it can also be just in your day-to-day life and how you're taking care of yourself or how you're being in relationship to different people in your life. Um, where are ways that you're not really being true to your own values? Because if you want to be a match to someone who's, really eager to do the work, who's motivated, who is willing to take responsibility, you have to be able to do that first. Otherwise, they will just not feel drawn to you. They will, on some level, sense that, something doesn't feel fully right here. Sweet. Coming to the end. Um, so here are three common misconceptions about calling in your ideal client that I have heard before, and I just briefly want to address them. If you have any more, feel free to put them in the chat and I might be able to respond. So, one thing is, I don't want to become too exclusive with my work. So, what if I set the bar really high and then people who do not meet this level, they will feel like they can't work with me, and then I'm like this really exclusive person who only works with people at a certain level, and I don't want that. I actually want my work to be inclusive. So I totally get that. I kind of feel the same way. There's a lot to say about that. So in my perspective, so this is my personal opinion that one-on-one work should be really exclusive because it's very limited. And then you can still have different kind of offers that address people who are not yet at that level. So for example, I have the Momentum Builder Mastermind, which is a group for spiritual entrepreneurs who want to bring more healthy structures into their business lives, who want to start building momentum in their business. And there are a few people, two people in there who were just starting out in their business when they joined. Um, and other people who have been in business for like a year or two who just want to grow it. And so you can have different kind of offers that are, for people who are not yet at this level that your ideal client is. And um, I've worked with people one-on-one and I do right now, who are not exactly at the level of what I say, this offer is for you if, and then all these points. Um, and they're still a great match. So when you have like your ideal client, it's not like every person who will come in will be exactly like this and they will meet like they will check off all the marks. This is more like this is an aspiration and an orientation of like this person you would absolutely love to work with. And then most of the people that come in will not be exactly there, and that's completely fine. But you're still creating that kind of orientation of who you're aiming for. The next thing is, well, I like working with different kinds of people, so I don't want to become too specific in, who I'm calling in. And so this depends on where you are with your business. If you're very established, you can start branching out and you can start calling in, different audiences and have like clear different offers. If you are, let's say, below six figures per year, I would very much encourage you to focus on like one, like your target audience and make it really specific and grow it over time. Because again, the power of being specific is you're speaking to a specific group very clearly, and people around that who resonate with you are still going to approach you. They're still going to be interested in working with you. Like I've recently worked with someone on the topic of people pleasing, which is a topic I'm really excited about. It's not exactly what I do in my business coaching, but this person approached me for that, and it was a really good collaboration. But I'm still being very specific that I offer business coaching. And then the last thing is, oh, I haven't worked with ideal clients before. How can I call them in? So this brings me back to the previous slide of like leadership energy. If you want to have different kinds of clients come to you, then what can you adapt in your own life and how you're showing up to make that happen? So don't wait for the ideal client to appear at your door, but be proactive and be like, okay, if I want to be a match to a different kind of client, what is it that I can actually adapt? Sweet. We're approaching the end of the masterclass. I'm gonna now share with you how I can help you call in the right clients. And this is, for some people, this will be really relevant and it can be interesting for you. And in that case, listen with the curiosity of, could this be for me or not? If you know that it's not for you, then you can just listen to me in a way of like, how am I right now? Applying the things that I was sharing in this masterclass. So just for you to kind of solidify the learning. So the way that I'm working with one-on-one clients right now is Jan is asking if I'm still here. I'm still here. See, maybe someone in the comments can quickly tell me if they can still hear me, but I think I should be live. Yeah, I see myself moving on the screen. So the way that I'm working with one-on-one clients right now is my one-on-one coaching program called Elevate Your Business. Nice, people saying they can hear me. Awesome. Um, this is who this is for. Now, again, keep in mind what I was saying before about raising the bar. Um, so this is for people who are making 2,000 to 4,000 euros per month, but are experiencing some inconsistency in there. Like it doesn't feel super steady. It feels like one month is really good, next month is lower. You have great results with your clients, so you're getting great feedback. You have this calling that you really want to serve your clients in the best way possible and kind of exploring like how can you create a container that has the biggest kind of transformation for your clients. You've already tried different kind of promo strategies. So maybe you've tried posting stuff on social media and maybe starting a YouTube channel, having an email list, following different kinds of advice that are floating out there. Um, you feel really passionate about finding a nervous system friendly way of doing your business. So that means you are really not interested in burning yourself out or pushing yourself beyond what feels healthy. You want to grow your business, but in a way that feels really sustainable. And you're looking for clear strategies. Like you're not looking for how to manifest your ideal client by visualizing them, but you want to have hand down things that you can actually start applying to have them come in. So if that applies to you or close enough to that, this is the container that I'm right now offering. So Elevate Your Business is a 6 month one-on-one program. It used to be 4 months, but I changed it to six because it feels more spacious and I want my clients to walk at a pace that feels really good. Um, it's 6 calls, so 1 call per month. Actually, I'm gonna do a special promo for 2 people who are joining from this masterclass where you'll get 2 additional calls. But so the general offer is 6 calls. We're in touch via Telegram in between. There are a couple of worksheets that we're working through in this program, and I'm offering the guarantee that if you join this program and you don't make your investment back in those 6 months, that I'm going to continue working with you until you do. And so this program, what it does is it helps you create a transformational offer. For most people, it's a one-on-one offer. It can also be a group offer. Um, that is not about so basically it's no longer charging an hourly price, but it's creating a larger container for your ideal client to go through a specific transformation, which is a great way for um, making you stand out in the market because you're focusing on the transformation. You're not saying I'm a coach, you're saying I'm a coach who offers this or that to this kind of person. And so there are 3 stages that we're going through in these 6 months. First one is around creating the transformational offer. So there are things around positioning and sharpening your messaging that we're doing. We kind of create a first draft of your transformational offer. And then we go into market research, which means you interview potential clients to understand their language, to understand their desire, so that we improve the transformational offer based on the feedback from the market. So this is one thing that a lot of people don't do when they create offers, which yeah can really suck is you put something out there, you don't validate it, and then you get crickets because no one's actually interested. So this validation part is really important. The second part is selling that transformational offer, so having a launch strategy for how you're going to find your first 3 clients. And what I usually do is I make my clients offer their transformational offer at a cheaper price at first to 3 beta testers because it takes off the pressure off of you. Like this doesn't have to be perfect. People know that they're beta testers. Their advantages, they're getting it at a cheaper price. Your advantages, you can kind of play around a bit more and just taking off the pressure that it has to be already, the perfect polished product. And once those beta testers are in and you're getting good results, we look at your offer again, we maybe tweak it. We already have the testimonials from those beta testers. And then the last step is to go into your unique sales strategy. So how can you sell that transformational offer consistently? So one part of that is content marketing. And this is where we would apply a lot of the things that I talked about in this masterclass around how you can create content that really calls in your ideal client. What are the things that your ideal client needs to hear or understand before they're ready to join your transformational offer? So that is what I'm offering right now. Um, the price for this program right now is 3,000 euros. I'm probably going to raise the price to 3,600 fairly soon because that was actually the price of the 4 month program. But for now, that's the price. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, for the next 2 people who join this program, they get 2 additional calls that we can use throughout the program. Either we can use it at the end to really double down on your content strategy, or whenever it is needed, can feel nice to just have that additional support. So that is my transformational offer that I love selling. with that in mind, we're coming to the end of the masterclass. Took almost exactly an hour. Thanks for sticking with me. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Again, doesn't matter if you're live or catching the replay. I'll definitely respond in one way or another. If you're interested in the offer itself, you can send me a message saying elevate, and I'll take it from there. Probably ask you some questions. We'll hop on a call and just see whether you're a good match for that. Because yeah, I don't work, you know, I want to make sure that we're a good match. I work with people who I feel I can really help them rather than just anyone. Yeah, and in any case, I hope you're taking some nuggets with you. So if you don't have questions, feel free to put in the comments, like what's your biggest takeaway? Um, I see Yasha saying, thanks for the masterclass, gave me so much value. That's amazing. I love what you're up to, Yasha. Um, I look forward to seeing what you're going to create. Yeah, may you call in your ideal clients for the benefit of you and your business and your clients and life at large. You know, I think ultimately what this is about is creating win-win-win situations. And if this masterclass helps you make that happen, then I'm a happy business coach. I'm just going to wait 1 or 2 more minutes to see if any last questions come in. Nice. Yasha says not there yet, but would love to work with you again in the future. That's awesome. We can also be in touch, Yasha. Maybe the mastermind could be a cool step in between for you. Feel like we can be in touch about that in private conversation. Yeah, thank you, Philip, for joining. Great that you were here. Thank you, Jan. So cool that you joined us. Love the men's work that you're doing. This was a lot of fun. I love doing these master classes. Gonna stop the screen share. You can see me one last time in real. Jan, biggest takeaway is realize what leadership energy can look like and what you're already on the way doing that. And there's more to come. Fuck yeah, I love this. Just sensing this celebration of yeah, seeing where you already are. That's fucking awesome. Thank you, Vincent. Happy to hear it was helpful. Alrighty, everyone. Gonna put this to an end. If you have any more questions and it's just taking you longer to write them down, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm definitely gonna engage. Again, if you're interested in working with me, just send me a message with Elevate and we'll be in touch. With that in mind, wishing you an epic Friday afternoon. All the best in your business. And yeah, I look forward to crossing paths with you in one way or another. Much love.